What's going on, everyone? It's Sean Mitchell, Denver real estate agent with Co-Listings, and this is your market update for December 2018. Let's go ahead and jump in. What are the things that we're going to cover today? Well, we're going to cover median days on market, months of housing inventory for single family homes, number of new listings, median sale price, and the special topic that I'll be covering for this video is 3 tips for buying a house with existing solar based on a recent experience I had with some buyers. Let's go ahead and jump in. Median days on market, 17 days. This is a 12% increase month over month and a 17% increase year over year. So it's taking a little bit longer to sell your home this month than it was last month, about 12%, and it's taking 17% longer this year than last year. But if you look at the big picture here, it looks pretty typical. And as I say in most videos, we typically see a summer peak in June or July where things are just flying off the shelf. There's a lot of competition, there's a lot of houses on the market and a lot of buyers. As you move into winter time, it's not as great, and so houses usually sit for a little bit longer. What about months of inventory for single family homes? How much inventory is there? If people were to stop putting their house on the market, it would take about 2 months to exhaust that inventory. That's a 0% increase month over month, so it's been pretty flat line for the last 3/4 months. However, it is a 100% increase year over year. Now that could look pretty concerning for most, but we fluctuated between 1 and 2 months of inventory for the last 4 years. In fact, the last time we saw things above 2 months of inventory was way back in 2013. Usually, months of inventory is directly tied to a correction in the market, and I think that a lot of us here in Denver have gotten quite spoiled with the market being so tight, especially listing agents and the sellers. If we start to see things tick up above 2 months, and I'm waiting for that moment because that's going to be one of the indicators that will allow me to feel more comfortable about saying there's a correction in the market. But until then, steady as she goes. Number of new listings for single family homes, 2,363. That's a 37% decrease month over month and a 46% decrease year over year. So this is really interesting to me because the less homes there are on the market, the more competition there is, the more likely that homes are to sell above asking price as long as the houses are priced correctly. So the number of months of inventory along with the number of new listings being extremely tight tells me that we will continue to see it being a seller's market for the foreseeable future. The median sales price for the Denver metro area is $421,250. That's a 1% decrease month over month, which is pretty typical moving into the winter, and a 5% increase year over year. So basically, it costs you 5% less 12 months ago than it does today to buy a house. And as you can see here, it's a steady growth up and to the right for average and median sales price. Again, another indicator that we're not quite in a market correction just yet. On to our last and final topic for this Denver December 2018 market update is 3 tips for buying a house with existing solar. And I mentioned in the beginning of the video that this came from a recent experience with some of my buyer clients. They went under contract with a house that had solar on it. They were really excited because they have an electric vehicle and they were super excited about augmenting or supplementing their cost to charge the car with sunshine. And so we had the inspector out to take a look at the entire house, look it up and down. And one thing we did find is that the roof did indeed need to be replaced. Now, this makes it an interesting situation because on top of the roof is the solar panels. So there's a few things that you need to know if you're looking at a house that has existing solar panels on top of it that you're considering. These 3 tips will make you a more savvy buyer if buying a house with existing solar panels on it is important to you. So the first one is to understand the purchase agreement. Were those solar panels leased, financed, or paid with cash by the home seller? This gives you an idea about what you could potentially be taking on. If they have been leased or financed, you may be taking over that monthly payment. However, if the owner did pay cash, you will own those outright. If you're financing most of the house, you'll also want to mention that there's existing solar on the roof of the house that you're interested in buying, because they may have some expectations as well. In fact, in this scenario that I experienced recently, the lender wanted the solar panels paid off at the day of closing. That would mean that the seller takes some of the profits of the sale of the house and pays off the financed solar panels. The next tip for you is to understand the condition of the roof. This is a really important one, because if the roof does need to be replaced, this is very likely going to need to be replaced by the seller, because if you're getting the house insured, which is usually a requirement of the lender, that insurer that you are working with wants to know that the house is in good condition, and the roof is a big part of that. They will not insure a roof of a house you are planning on purchasing if it needs to be replaced. So then it falls on the hands of the seller to take care of that, either by paying cash to have the roof replaced or by working with an insurance company to file a claim. Along with knowing the condition of the roof is knowing and understanding that solar panels have to be removed in order for the roof to be replaced. In a lot of cases, the roofing company does not specialize in solar, so you'll have to work with two separate parties to make sure that the solar gets removed so that the roof can be replaced with a new one. This can sometimes take weeks and months depending on where those permits are filed. If they're filed with the county and you're working with government, good luck. Sometimes they're quick, but most of the times they are not. The last and final tip that I have for you, if you're considering a house with existing solar panels on top of it that you plan on purchasing, is how large is that solar array? How much energy is it producing? So if you own a house or have access to how much energy you use to date from your electricity provider, you can probably get a pretty good idea about how much energy you will use when you move into the house, and therefore it could potentially supplement or cover the cost completely of your electricity usage inside of your house. Now, if you have an electric car or cars, that will have a significant impact on the electricity usage that you use in the house, and as well how much energy you would need to produce from those solar panels to have a neutral cost. So my advice to you is to have your agent talk to the listing agent and seller to find out how large is that solar system in kilowatts and how much energy is it producing on a regular basis. There are a lot of factors that come into play in terms of how much energy it produces, which direction of the house is it, where are the solar panels, and in the area that you're looking in, how much sunlight does it get? All right, that wraps up this December 2018 market update. I hope you found it interesting and enjoyable, and if you did, please consider giving it a like and a subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And the next couple of videos in terms of market updates for the Denver metro area will include a overall 2018 report card or market analysis for the year, as well as what to expect or my predictions for 2019. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.